Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Unusual Code. This is a very special video for me. Many of my friends, colleagues, people who start with software development and even college students write to me and ask about suggestions of improving their programming and even asking about some of the tips of moving ahead into the career. And I think it would be unfair and not very appropriate if I give some generic answers. So I thought, why don't I share my own experience and in the process tell you how I have gone through that journey, the good and bad part of that learning process. So this video I have dedicated to start of everything. I have also planned a series of videos where I would be considering one very important project which has defined or even helped me grow in that phase. So for this video, this is the start of my coding journey. It began in college. To be very frank, I was never very fond of programming. I even disliked it, mostly because it was taught very differently in my first year. I find it raw and uninteresting. But things changed in the last year. I got a project where I had to do calculation using Excel sheet. And I discovered that I can automate a lot of calculation using Visual Basic. Add buttons there. I can trigger a module when a button is clicked. So that got me interested into thinking that this is a very amazing thing. I can create a lot of very useful things using this program. And I started looking around, and people, my friends, were all preparing for competitive examination, mainly because companies were going to come into the college and the placement season was going to start. So for that, they were preparing on various platforms of competitive exams. But I didn't like the idea. I had already gone through this process in class 11th and 12th. I prepared for IIT and I didn't want it to be theoretical. And I thought this is a very practical subject and I need to create something with this rather than solving problem statements. So I thought, why not start with zero and create something interesting? Then I got the idea and I thought of a game. This game is 5 by 5 boxes on a board. There are two players. Each player has 7 soldiers on the board, randomly placed. Each soldier has power of 5. One soldier can take the power of the other soldier, having the power less than or equal to their own power. In a way, they will extract their power into themselves and remove that other player's soldier from the board. And once that soldier which disappears will reappear somewhere on the board wherever there is a vacant space with at least power. So in a way, your soldiers will keep on increasing their power and other opponent's power will be absorbed by them. And I call this game 300 War because that point of time I saw the movie 300. I was fascinated, a big fan of the movie, and I was just wanted to name everything Sparta. So I thought, let's give this 300 because there is war going on to this board. So whichever player will get 300 points first, then that will be the winner. And there was one thing I thought, let's bring more randomness into the game. I thought of one more step into the game. If one player has a soldier whose power gets greater than 60, then half the power will remain with the soldier and half will be transferred to any other soldier, any one soldier on the board. So that way, there was randomness in the game, and I started creating this program, writing a algorithm that will enable the computer to predict a move which will maximize its win potential against any real person. I'll show you the code and walk you some of the aspect of the program. Obviously, the point is to give you the tips that how I approached towards learning to program. Whenever I used to improve the program, I had one friend whom I used to give this program to play with. He would win, and then I would go back and work some more and make the improvement into the computer's AI sort of. But it was a brute force algorithm which I was creating. And then I would again ask my friend to try that game. And after I completed that game, I was very filled with happiness. And then I thought, let's take it to the next level, have some UI associated with this game. So I started with Android development, and I failed miserably. I wasn't able to make any progress there. It was too difficult. I had learned Java, but having everything set up using Eclipse at that point of time, Android development used to happen with Eclipse, and setting those things for the first time was very difficult, and I almost gave up. Then I started with mobile app development for Windows using C Sharp. Windows that point of time had their own mobile phone using Nokia, and they had this framework which I started working on, and it was easier. And I was able to complete the game with the C Sharp. You can see the code, and I got thrilled, and I was able to make my player play with my game on an emulator which was running on my laptop. But obviously I cannot share it with other people, other friends. So that point of time I thought, now this time I had to complete my Android project. And because I had got success in developing mobile app using C Sharp on Windows Phone, so I had this confidence that this time I would be able to make through the Android. And fortunately, I did this time. I was able to create the Android app with all the features. I will show you. So this is the code which I have written for 300 program using C++. In the main, you can see you have maze and score, which is 5 cross 5 matrices, and I initialize the maze for 7 soldiers, initially having marked 1 and 0.5 for the player 1, and same thing we do for player 2. Then we print the matrices and the score, and after that we do a toss. So whichever wins, player 1 or 2 will start the process, and then the program will move perpetually using while loop until unless some player wins the game. So player move is the main part here. I'm not going into detail, but to give you just a highlight. So I have written a logic for computer to make a move, which I am calling AI move. How does the AI move? It goes through, I'll show you. Yes. So in this, computer tries to make a move and then see what possible moves are there for the player and makes one of the move, calculate the score, and then it moves another position for the player and itself in a way that it goes through depth of 1, 2 and 3 and tries to find that combination of move which is going to give it the maximum chance of having a high score. So this is how computer is making its optimum move. And there are certain things which are subtle here. For example, how to find what are, let's say, valid moves. So there you have to check if you are on the corner, if you are on the center, if you are on the edge. So all those conditions we have to write. So this is the program. Of course, this developed over the period of a lot of hit and trial, and I was very proud of it. I was also able to create the C Sharp, although Windows Phone is no longer available, so I'm not able to run this program. But yes, I did create Windows Phone program. Earlier, Nokia was acquired by Microsoft, and they had this Nokia Lumia phones. So there, I was able to run it, but now I'm not able to. Android, then I transformed. These are the codes which I wrote at that point of time, and at that point I wrote it into Eclipse. Porting it into Android now will require a lot of steps, but I have run the APK, which you can see later. So this is the progression from C++ to C# code, then finally to Android. So this is the game 300 War. UI, you can see it has been distorted because it's a built on older version, and Android has brought a lot of changes. So still I'm able to at least run. That is good for me. I'll go to play. I'll play with computer. So there are three levels of AI. So I'll go for level 2. Choose the toss. Okay, I won. So I am blue. So first my player will absorb the power of the other one. Computer moved here. It took my player, and then I'll keep on going. Great. So this is how I can play the game on Android. Of course, the UI has distorted because this version of Android needed changes. So that's it. That I think that is the thing here. So with this Android app, I also published it on the Google Play Store and asked my friends to play with it. I even improved a few things in the program. For example, giving AI the more depth in finding the right move. Obviously, it started taking more time for that sort of difficulty level. But still, I was able to make more progress there. So this was the first program which led me from programming to the app development. And I think the approach I took made me happy and made me more enthusiastic about program, where I can apply what I have learned in the programming into some real use case of programming. And then my career started with the first company after the college, which I will talk about in the other video. So yes, this was it. This is what I recommend people, that you create something. It's not just that you have to go into the mindset of everybody around you. Rather, you create your own mindset and find what you love the most, what excites you. For me, creating something which I can engage my friends with, this game was the piece which motivated me to get into more learning of how to use my programming knowledge for creating softwares. So that is the thing. If somebody is in college and think that uh, they want to use their programming for some creation, please go ahead. I have done the same, and it has rewarded me heavily in my career growth. So this is the way I started to code, and I am very happy that I chose this path. Obviously, there are some downfalls, uh, and major one is you won't be able to get through a lot of uh, interviews which happens on the campus. But I guess that is fine. Sooner or later, you will always get at the place where you want to go. The path does not have to be what has defined by general consensus, but rather you find your own path. At this point of time, things are easier. You have much more resources available for learning whatever you want to. So it's select one thing which interests you, use your programming to get some creativity out of that interest, and next phase would be great, and you would start finding your own way. Thank you for watching this video. Do subscribe to my channel. It helps the channel grow and also motivate me to find time and create these videos.